We are in the midst of a slight correction, and the moment we actually going down in the chart, bears start to scream. I told you we are going down, I'm staying in shorts. I actually was able to catch this movement. I was actually able to catch this $2,000 downward price action in Bitcoin. I actually was able to make money on it. Let's talk about crypto market. Let's talk about what's happening with Bitcoin. Let's talk about what's happening with Memecoins. Whether or not you should actually be positioning yourself currently and what you would want to position yourself into as well. What are the things that are moving currently, and should you be buying into green candles? Should you be positioning them currently? Or are there opportunities laying around right now? You only need to take them and it's yours. It's free money. You will just not do anything. You will just be making money following into the bull run. Let's figure out, are we actually at the edge of the monstrous pump of the crypto market, of the BTC and all your alts in your portfolio as well? Without further ado, let's actually start. First of all, I would like to start with the chart of BTC. We have our ranges and we have our $65,000 level. A lot of people are saying that we need to break through it and consolidate above this level to move higher. And I bet you that a lot of people in this market, they are currently, what are they doing? They're actually waiting. They are checking out this level closely. They are waiting in order to enter long positions or enter short positions at this stage. And what happened? What happened, as we can see? We tried to break through first time right here. We get rejected. We get rejected quite severely, you might say, back to $62,000. Then we had a second attempt. And here probably a lot of chartists, a lot of people, they were essentially trying to enter loans. Because some of them, they believe that, man, we consolidated, we broke through, it's fine. Then we pretty much dumped below the range one more time. Right now, we just had this small little short attempt. But as you can see, we are very, very close to the range at this stage, which means that statistically speaking, we just have way higher chance, way higher upside to break through this range going higher. At the same time, some people are certainly entering shorts. And what are they planning? Is for us to revisit maybe even bottom of the ranges, is for us to revisit the middle of the range as well. We're at a very, very interesting situation. I bet you a bunch of traders, they are watching this chart very, very carefully at this stage, thinking what they should be doing next. We do also see a trend line with the upward price action that we bounce from at each and every move 3 times already. We might go down back to this trend line and then finally bounce up and reach our targets in terms of BTC and break through the range finally where we should be going till the resistance of the next range right after. But as mentioned, I do think that we're going to $75,000 at this stage. And if you're checking crypto Twitter, if you're watching like some YouTube channels and things like that, you might think that people are overly bullish. And because of it, you might become cautious. You might start to feel fear or something. But in reality, especially looking after how people specifically behave with the money, what is happening on the market, people are still scared shitless. Not a lot of things are pumping up. Pretty much things that were oversold, they just retrace to certain levels. A lot of them, they don't even retrace back to the previous levels. And there are a bunch of tokens with a bunch of market makers that market makers are essentially pushing up at this stage to show the market that they're strong, to show the market that this is the thing to get into, this is the first mover and things like that. Well, if you were buying these things at the dips, you're probably doing well. If not, buying into green candles at this stage, it's a very, very risky situation because you might just move the percentage of returns, crazy percentage of returns for the things that are still loading up currently. Because I would even dare to say that a lot of the movement of the tokens that we are seeing currently that are pumping up like heavily, it's heavily manipulated by the market makers. Because as mentioned, it's pretty much free liquidity for them. It's the market reversal, not all the things are moving. You just have to pump one thing just a bit and it will direct the focus of the market. It will direct the liquidity, nothing else is moving. It will start sucking up liquidity out of everything else. When, for example, assassination attempt with Trump happened, Solana meme coins saw a large outflow of capital because people were selling the current holdings, buying into meme coins that were connected to this event just in order to get wrecked. This is unfortunately what happened. Moving further, I personally find it wild how people think Ethereum ETF flows are going to be weak. Do you think institutions don't want exposure to the future settlement layer that is disrupting international payment rails, traditional asset settlement, and hosting a whole suite of new Web3 businesses? Larry Fink has literally said the future of financial markets is tokenization, and where is the Beetle fund located? That's the fund that BlackRock opened for their real-world assets operations. Base and Arbitrum, which settles directly to Ethereum. It's seriously time to zoom out. Ethereum. 4K is coming for Ethereum as well, for sure. Yeah, I do think so as well because, man, this thing was just consolidating for too much time. Still super bullish on July, early August. Think the market will have quite a few pumps in the next few weeks. Some people are saying currently that in upcoming 2 months, we might actually double the market cap of the whole crypto. It's crucially important to be positioned in the market currently. Just positioned. Probably, like, even if you're just in the worthless tokens, worthless shit, it will pump anyway, based on human greed, and it will pump the hardest if you're in some low caps, right? Very, very important, being in the market currently, because if you miss the explosive move, your returns will heavily be diminished. Just be in the market, followed by a long and exhaustive chop until Q4. They'll make you think Ethereum is heading to all-time highs after hitting range highs, just like they made you sell your coins at the bottom of the range. TIA serves as an example of what I expect to happen in the coming months. Update: spot Ethereum ETF's launch next week will drive price above $5,000 bitwise. That's pretty much just an estimation. We'll see, but again, I don't see any reasons for ETF for Ethereum do anything different than the ETF did for BTC. And ETF for BTC pretty much pumped it from like 28k to 74k. Ethereum is lower in the market cap. A bunch of Ethereum is not in the circulation at this stage. And people are speaking about grayscale outflows. We'll talk about this as well. But what you have to understand is that the percentage of Ethereum that grayscale actually has at this stage is lower than the percentage of BTC that they had in comparison when BTC ETF actually started. My genuine belief is that the big push of the bull run happens in 2024 still, just a few months until many of our lives forever changed. It's very important. It's a very, very important thought, because if you miss the big push, it might be way riskier and way harder to actually make it later in the cycle. Probably you would pretty much have to participate in a dump shit, right? Currently, what will get rewarded is just holding your shit, just buying and being exposed in the market, because not a lot of people are doing it currently. That's why the action that is not executed by a large amount of people in the market will most likely get awarded, especially if you're holding like some meme coins and things like that. Not a lot of people are holding memes at this stage, right? And essentially after the dips, after the drops, that's just small cohort of people that will be making money with the current situation in the marketplace, with us pumping to Valhalla. And manipulator needs us to make us rich, because he wants to show us as clowns to the whole world, to the whole population. Hey guys, they bought this thing, they bought this shitty meme coin, they got rich, come and buy our bags. Please, I invite you. People will come, and for some time they will see numbers of this on the screen that are increasing, but most of them, they will not know what the fuck are they doing, and they will just round trip, and the whole thing will just go to zero. That's the playbook. The path to wealth isn't active trading, but simply holding undervalued gems for 2 years. The sooner you understand this, the better your life will be. Again, holders statistically, always, holders outperform traders. Trading is a very interesting type of activity. You need a lot of time, you need skill as well, and things like that. Easiest thing is holding. And holding assets that other people see as degenerate, other people don't understand, other people don't like, other people feel nervous, other people feel stressed when they're holding these assets. This is the key. Meme coins. Imagine holding memes through the volatility. Dogecoin holders had to go through 80% dips in the last cycle. 7, if they wanted to sell at the top. This is why they were becoming so rich, because how many people actually did that? People were selling on the bottoms of each dump. 100% that was happening. We are less than 1 week away from billions of fresh dollars going into Ethereum via the spot ETFs. You could say that I'm just a little bit bullish. And it's interesting that market still is a bit like scared. Not like a bit scared, it's definitely like scared shitless still. That's essentially what makes me bullish on the whole thing, because if everyone would be screaming, if the price of all of the assets will be surging up, if everyone would be bullish, if we would have no bears, I would say we're going down. We're going to 12K, just close this whole thing, I'm taking profits, fuck off. But this is not the situation that we're seeing currently. This is not the situation. Tell your boss you quit. Bull run is here. It posted yesterday, right? We will see what will be happening. They might push main pump action to weekend again, which would be quite interesting. But obviously, I expect movements from starting from some around middle of next week. We will see. But like currently Thursday, we don't have too much time. And we have to understand that certain prices, certain assets at this stage, when they're going up, they're not going back down much. This literally might be the last several days to get into certain assets at these prices. Literally. This is just crazy. Crazy to think and understand. You might want to slack. You might want to, oh yeah, I will just wait. I will do nothing. Several days goes by. It's 40% higher, 50% higher, 60% higher. And you heavily diminished your returns in comparison. If you hold it pretty much just since 3 days old or from 3 days later. That's crazy. While everyone tracking spot Ethereum ETFs today, two of the best new ETF ticker symbols debuted, Lambo and Rect. Quite funny. I just wanted to share that. Definitely shows that the guys who launch these ETFs, they understand the crypto culture. But will they attract proper audience through these ETFs? It's quite interesting. Probably the audience that they will be targeting with these tickers, it might be just free marketing, but I don't think that the audience that they will be targeting with these tickets is the right one. Maybe later in the cycle, like when a bunch of retail will join, it will be appealing for them, but it's quite hard to say at this stage. I'm trying to play this cycle as if the period now from 2024 to 2025 generally is our last chance to make it in this industry, now or never. That's a very great mindset, and from one point of view, it actually might fuck with you when you're holding something. You might want to trade, you might want to be stressed, so from that point of view, that's a bit like not that great. But for example, if you're holding your core assets and like with like smaller chunk, you're just trading, you're just trying to make more money, you try to play this like Memecoin game, because I still think it's quite a skill to actually acquire before we'll have these herds of retail joining and getting slaughtered in the slaughterhouse, right? Extraction of liquidity is coming, like huge extraction of liquidity. And yeah, just nice type of mindset to have in general. Friendly reminder to make sure you don't have 7 figures of big fat boobas 1488 in when the music finally stops. That's something in connection to the button holder, and that's something to connection to me as well, because I was not taking much profits back in spring, holding the tokens. And yeah, that's a very, very important thing as well, to take profits on the way up. However, I do think that we all as a market, we just neglect what will be happening. We neglect, we don't understand. We can't even imagine. We can't even imagine what will be happening with the amount of liquidity that's coming into this market. ETFs, that's never happened in history before. Like, human mind cannot imagine 20,000 people. You cannot do this. You cannot imagine 20,000 people. We can also not imagine what will be happening with this market. I'm seeing these like targets of BTC 120K, 150K. Remember that I'm that bullish. I'm providing that targets, not at the top. I'm providing them when BTC is 60, 65K. I'm called delusional. I'm called a lunatic for my targets. We will see what time will bring, right? Justin, Stripe to allow European customers to purchase Bitcoin and crypto using their credit or debit cards. That's just huge. Stripe is a huge payment system, and Europe is kind of like a bit conservative, you might say. People, they don't work much in Europe. They just want to spend the time and maybe life savings of the parents, right? Watching some guys coming into the countries and having sex with the women, right? But nevertheless, this is a very, very bullish thing. Stripe is almost like PayPal. They are very huge. Very, very huge. We have like, you can buy Pepe through Robinhood already in Europe. That's not from Robinhood, but Revolut. That's probably the payment system that you don't have in US, but it's very, very popular in Europe. Remember, if they talk about the outflow, their IQ is below 20. I tend to agree with this as well. It's either the IQ below 20 or they're just paid to create this negative sentiment, right? about the outflows. I'm not seeing that. I will share some more information on this in this video, but I'm not seeing outflows of Grayscale from Ethereum ETF just being as something like massive for the industry, for the ETFs. I'm not seeing that, to be honest. Do you think Larry Fink sits at his desk all day and worries about what the ETH outflows are going to be? No, he knows that any potential outflows are a tiny blip in the face of the hundreds of billions of dollars that he and his friends are going to funnel into Ethereum. We just got like a bunch of billionaires supporting Trump as well. Like, man, they just created this gigantic setup for the bull market in crypto. Imagine the size of the operation. Imagine how well they're positioned already. How many hundreds of millions and billions of dollars they have in crypto already. Removing uncertainty, pushing the proper president, pushing all the stuff that's happening, ETFs. This is such a giant psyop. This is like truly transferage of the wealth, and probably one of the largest operation of making retail poor on taking retail money like crazy. I think like what we will be seeing is something similar to dot-com bubble, and probably even larger. To be honest, I do think it will be even larger, just because of the amount of the degeneracy, amount of regulations that are absent in this space, amount of things that will be happening. Like, we're just in the first scene of the movie and you already think that it's over. It's just the first scene. And like all these preparations that they're making, I cannot understand how you cannot be bullish at this stage. These guys, they don't leave their fingers for 1 billion, for 10 billion, probably even for hundreds of billions. The issue is that obviously they have time on their end, because in order to construct and execute this type of operation, they definitely need time. Like, you cannot extract hundreds of billions in one day, right? It's not like buying your Solana meme token, because they don't have liquidity anyway. But the way the whole operation is set up, the way it's constructed, the way people are shaking out, the way certain opinions are shared by certain people on the marketplace, they're just so crazy to see that. You wouldn't believe me if I told you my targets, Giga Cycle. That's something that I have myself as well. I don't think we understand. And I think that's done on purpose. They are very, very great manipulators of the psychology and of human imagination, because we cannot even imagine. We are limited by our minds. We cannot even imagine what's going to come. And they will be using it very, very well. They will be dumping it around 120, 150K. They will be making sure you will be selling. They will be making sure that you won't be buying back. They will be making sure that you will be thinking it's just a fake rally, it's going to go down. They will be making sure that you will be capitulating at $400,000 a Bitcoin. They will be making sure to provide you with 70% return. So you will feel great that you capitulated, but just to drop the whole thing afterwards. And they will make you believe that it's going up. It's probably just another correction and probably going to $1.5 million for Bitcoin, right? Bear trap, we are going much higher. If Solana ever hits 110 before it hits $200, I will eat my own shit on live television. This is anonymous guy, so how would we figure out if this is just random guy who ate some shit, right? Hard to say. Good chance this rally is the big rally up through new all-time highs, in my opinion. In my opinion as well. As mentioned, I think we're going to $75,000. We need more people like this in our coins. That's very, very interesting, because we don't have a lot of believers in certain coins, meme coins at this stage, because they're essentially like more experienced market participants, right? So they dump. Well, at the same time, it will definitely fuck with them over time. Like the desire to dump, to sell and things like that, to take some profits here and there, they will be capitulating heavily into the fact that the things that they dumped, they will just be reaching crazy fucking valuations. They will not make sense. I think that traders will actually get wrecked. I think the best thing you can do is to position yourself in long-term projects, lower caps, that are just surviving. That's why when I was doing a video on 9 Solana memes several days ago, I specifically shared all the projects as examples, because all the projects that survive, they will accumulate in value, they will appreciate in value, they will acquire value as well. People will be buying into them. and valuations will just be crazy. The goal is to survive. And if something showed you already that it can survive, this is the only thing that matters. All these like arguments about this token or that token, this shit or that shit, the only thing is happening is because there is not enough liquidity in the market. And you are saying that, oh, like there are so many things are appearing every day. So what? 99% of them die. Projects that are actually surviving, you can count them probably like under 20, under 25 that are actually surviving, like upgrading. They don't have any sort of major issue. They kind of look like they have like a nice level of quality and things like that. They will be appreciating in value heavily, because when there is too much liquidity, everything will be going up. Everything will be going up. Something I wanted to share. 95% will dump their XRP at $10 to $50, thinking they made gains. I am here for the real gains, $1,000 plus. Who has the diamond hands to stay with me? Just for the information, if we would check out the market cap of XRP at this stage, it's $32 billion. $1,000 from here is 2,000%, is 2,000 multiplier increase. I think that's like more than market cap of Nvidia or something, like largest companies, things like that. The reason I'm sharing this is because you see here the person that believes, truly believes. I was recently speaking with some Dash Maxes as well, which is also an altcoin. And the reason that these things actually survive is because they have these diehards. They just don't care about the price of the whole thing. They're just holding, and they have crazy high targets. They just don't make sense. This is the reason why they actually can hold these levels. This is the reason why these projects, they have these iron floors. And traders, they can actually take advantage of that. Like buy these at the bottom of the cycle, sell at the top, and the guy who's holding XRP for 10 years already, he'll just continue holding, believing in XRP revolutionizing the industry, right? Germany sold 90% of the BTC OTC. All this selling was just GT dump basis. OTC just means that they did not dump it on the exchange, on the market, that they just sold through the buyer who bought it off market, therefore without the impact on the chart. I'm not sure if this information is 100% correct, but it seems like this is probably something that was happened, because I don't think that like there is enough liquidity on the exchanges to actually dump the amount of BTC that the Germany was dumping in the first place. Especially like with market orders, they will be just losing like too much money, so much money. And it kind of like helps us to understand that the thing that happened with all this dump is just a manipulation. It was a reaction to the event that did not even happen, you know? It is just crazy how well they are manipulating this market. And the reason they are doing that is because the quality of investment skills is quite low at this stage in the market. I'm speaking about like early investment, long-term planning and things like that. And what essentially showed that the quality of the investment skills is not that great is comparison that we saw when BTC was dumping. ETFs, BTC ETFs, they were buying like crazy. And these guys who are buying through ETFs, they have large amounts of capital, they have more life experience, they know investment game as well, they probably make most of the money through investment as well, they probably run large corporations too, so they were buying this floor like heavily they were buying into this thing, whilst crypto, Twitter, it was just that. Well, maybe because most of the alts and memes were just going to shit, so it makes sense, but still it's a very, very interesting setup. What's different about this pump compared to the last one is a decent chunk of crypto Twitter got prematurely bearish and remained sidelined. That's what I was telling you as well. This is what's very important. I was telling you that the reversal will be happening when people will not even understand that the reversal has happened. When people will be looking to enter shorts, when people will be bearish, when people will think that we are going down. And I'm sure like many people see current things that happen is that we just rejected at $65,000 range, resistance level, right? We were not able to break it through. And right now, it's probably a great idea to short at the top of the range because we might be going into the bottom of the range. That's what a lot of people are actually thinking. But this thing just gets manipulated as fuck. It's pretty much any asset out there. Let us check funding rates one more time. It's just such a great piece of data. Like actually, like funding rates is the one piece of data that never lies. That's the only thing that you can actually base certain systems in crypto on, like charts, indicators, things like that. All crap, vaporware. Funding data is exactly how people are voting with the money currently. What we can see is that they're pretty much neutral, the funding rates. A lot of people are shorting, like we're seeing negative funding rates on certain assets and on certain exchanges as well. This is the situation that I love to see. In the first place, it shows that people are uncertain. Secondly, it shows that people don't want to trade leverage because probably they got liquidated several times already, right? The same way as I got. You think the bull run is gonna be epic. You have no fucking idea what's coming. Repeat after me. Bitcoin equals 1 million. Well, that's close to my target as well. Thesis: BlackRock will be sending price into orbit. Few, me and the homies, are early enough to get rich alongside them. When prices redefine gravity and peasants flood the market, the carpet will be pulled. BlackRock not ranking for 1 or 2 billion. Think bigger. Man, that's just something, that's the thought that just came to my mind, that I just shared with you, that they are not preparing this thing to rank for 100 million, for 1 billion, for 5 billion. This is a giant operation with many years in the making. Probably from the end of the last cycle, of the bull cycle, they understood that like, man, this thing, there is some money here. And we can legally wreck retail, and what we can do after is that we would say so many retail got wrecked, and this is us who actually wrecked them, but we will not say that. We would say so many retail actually got wrecked, so that's why we're actually putting a bunch of regulations on this space to create this narrative, to dump the whole thing, so we can create liquidity, so we can take profits, because they cannot take profit in one day as well. They need to create thick liquidity levels. They cannot even take profits at the top. They just pump the chart at the top, they show the price. Not a lot of people are taking profits there because they believe the bullshit that the token is going higher and things like that. They dump the price 50% and they start to create this narrative. Man, it's 50% discount. Buy into this thing. Buy into this thing, is going higher, it's going to recover. And this is where they create liquidity. This is where people are selling their real world assets like houses and things like that, buying into this digital money. And their money, they're just being taken from them. BlackRock daily BTC inflows plus $260 million. Again, I also don't think that BlackRock is preparing to rack for 1 or 2 billion. They're preparing to rack probably for trillions actually, along with other structures as well. Like we cannot fathom what the fuck is actually coming. Nice fuck you by Grayscale, Ethereum ETF sorted by fees. Grayscale essentially has a large fee, 2.5%, 10 times larger than other ETFs. The reason for that is because they have a bunch of Ethereum that is kind of locked right there, and people cannot withdraw it only through ETFs. They can, and essentially this is what will be happening. They will be making a bunch of money on people selling their Ethereum through ETFs. And what they might actually be doing is just sell their Ethereum through Grayscale, because they will also have this narrative, oh, probably I want to sell, other people want to sell as well, so probably we are dumping and I should sell now, and then I should actually rebuy through some ETF that has a lower fee for the transactions, and probably maybe from a more reputable company such as BlackRock, for example, right? The reason why so many are still sidelined on meme coins is because when they hear meme coins, they think risk. The very important thing, it's much more fucking riskier to sit in the altcoins currently than sit in meme coins. Much more fucking riskier. Much more. They fail to understand that the strongest meme coins are evolving into cults, and cults are safety. If you understand, many will. Well, I won't say it's mostly about the cults. I would say just about the assets performing well. The reason they're turning into cults is because early adopters, they are making a bunch of money. And if the charges goes up, and up, you have more and more people who are making a bunch of money in the process as well. And you don't have this like just rig structure with VCs. I don't think that actually like this structure with VCs is intentional in a way, to just launch everything with crazy high, fully diluted valuation, to shake people out of the altcoins. Because everyone knows from last cycle, you just buy altcoins and you're just getting rich. And how easy this setup is. You buy altcoins, you're getting fucking wrecked because you are constantly getting dumped on. These things that worked in the previous cycles, they never worked in the new cycle as well. Never. There is always something new. That's why memes are running. partially as well. And that's why there are so many people, you cannot even imagine, so many people are still sitting in alts. I was showing you a tweet yesterday, like I am in 100 plus, the guy was saying, I'm in 100 plus crypto chats from like previous cycle. No one the fuck is speaking about meme coins. No information there. Like my timeline, everything I see is only about meme coins. And all this capital, it will be capitulating into meme coins. And it's great it's not happening currently, because if it would be happening currently, you will not be getting the prices that you actually want. Understand the type of alpha you're actually fucking exposed this early in the cycle. Understand how well you're positioned. Understand what actually are the liquidity inflows that are coming. You are probably positioned, if you're watching this channel, in the most performing asset class. Most performing. And it will continue to perform 100%. It's not the grayscale outflows that matter. It's the reaction to the grayscale outflows that matter. How can you predict this reaction? You can't. You just go along and pray. Yeah, something I wanted to share as well. An interesting tweet. And I kind of agree with this as well. But, well, they might use it as a manipulation. Is the market that stupid? You have to understand that, like, when you're thinking, is the market that stupid? Market is not stupid. It's just they are manipulating the fuck out of it. Like, if you ask people, like, were you selling your Ethereum because you thought that grayscale outflows are actually like that bad, you will not probably find people that actually done this. And people that did this, they either don't have money at all, or they have a bunch of money and they have some insights and they're playing like different levels to these games. Like, they're thinking, all right, there would be a bunch of players who would be selling this thing because they will be afraid of that, and that's why I will also sell to kind of take advantage of it. But it's double-edged sword. It's quite hard to predict if you don't have any insights, if you're not the manipulator yourself. What we have to do is just place our bets and hope that we're all right in any case, in any scenario on this marketplace. Well, this is it from my end. Thank you very much for watching this video. Staying bullish. I do think very, very great things are coming for the market, for our portfolios, for our meme coin bags as well. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be seeing you tomorrow.